Today we're doing a deep dive into the campus DLC for City Skylines. And as much as I want to build a 5-star university up today for you, this is probably the grindiest of grinds in cities. I think it's worse than industries, but we'll find that out later this week. So this week is all about really the management aspect of some of the DLCs. And I think the two that demonstrate that the best are campus and industries. We'll be taking over this area of our town and slapping in some campus buildings. It's not going to be the prettiest of builds, but we'll talk about some of the mechanics, some of the things that we need to worry about to level up. I also want to talk a bit about the unique sports facilities towards the end, but this one's going to be a little bit different. And I think if we want to go into real great depth with the 3 different campus types, I would recommend a playlist that I put together of 9 separate videos, 3 for each campus, where I go back to previous cities that I built and dropped in unique campuses into each one. If you want the real how-to and the in-depth step-by-step Let's Play, I'd recommend that you check that out. So let's take a deepish dive into campus. It's a little bit tricky because there is so much to it from a time perspective in terms of the grind it takes to level these up. But the mechanics are relatively simple, so we'll dive in, we'll create a campus, talk about, again, those things to upgrade, get to the sports facilities. We'll jump back and forth as well. Our zoo is upgrading in the background from our previous episode of Park Life. So we'll make a couple touches to that. But if you want to skip over those segments and just talk about campus, I'll have timestamps in the description down below so you can jump around. But with all that out of the way, let's dive right in and talk about campus DLC for City Skylines. Today, I've got a spot kind of cleared out where we can get started, where our university used to be, and I actually just demoed that. It was turned off. Let me double check. I moved this over here as well. So the Collider University, Disable University Boost, not turned on yet because this is still providing university coverage. We're going to turn that off in a few minutes though, but I want to work on this area here. We might steal some space on one of the adjacent blocks. That's quite a possibility, but let's see where we can get started. So got a new campus button over here on consoles. The campus area painting tool works very similar to what we saw with the Park Life DLC. If you didn't see that, it works just like that. But basically what we do is we can paint an area here. Now this is independent of any district, so this can overlap. It doesn't have to line up with districts. It can't overlap with another part though, or industry area, I believe. So just keep in mind that for right now, we'll paint that as our campus area. In fact, that's the name of it. Can we change that yet? I think we drop in a building. So here's the thing. Our first big choice that we have to do, which one we want to focus on though, depends on what type of benefits we want our city to get. So there's 3 types of schools we can drop in: a trade school, a liberal arts, and a university. If you go to the last 3 buildings that you unlock in each one of these, they have different effects that can cascade down to your city. The police academy has students work with police officers, keeping an eye on jail cell occupants, increasing patrol car count, jail capacity, and police department efficiency. School of Tourism and Travel increases attractiveness and entertainment of leisure buildings, and income from all commercial zones is increased. The School of Engineering increases all generic zone industry income while reducing city water consumption and sewage outlet. So those are 3 pretty cool effects for the trade school. If we take a look at the liberal arts next, you have the School of Education. Classrooms have higher student capacity and helps them educate more efficiently. Not super useful if we have the Hadron Collider monument, but could be useful otherwise. School of Environmental Studies reduces garbage accumulation in the city. And the School of Economics helps local office zones increase revenue without upsetting the city's populace. Up last of the university, you have the School of Law. Crime rate, police department upkeep is reduced throughout the city. School of Medicine allows healthcare to run more efficiently with increased ambulance count and patient capacity. School of Science, income from all specialized industries is increased while reducing pollution and electricity consumption. So it really depends what kind of city you're building. The Standard University, healthcare, police, crime, and specialized industry can all benefit from that. On the liberal arts path, definitely offices seem to benefit the most. I think for the type of city and balance that we have, though, trade school makes the most sense. So we will get a police benefit, but we'll also get an increase in income from all commercial zones, increased attractiveness for entertainment of leisure buildings, and also generic zone industry gets a buff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in this main campus building right here, kind of on our center hub. I'm going to leave this roadway the same way it was. And just like we had with Park Life before, we've got a certain number of buildings that unlock, and then other ones that we can unlock if we can get to a certain level. So we'll get as far as we can. I don't have a ton of students in this city, though. I don't think at 50,000 pop to get up to top level, but there's one way to find out, and that is to start dropping some stuff in. So we have the ability to drop in dormitories. I really feel like these should be... Can we fit them up here? Not in campus area. Okay. Let's expand our campus area out a block, and let's drop in some dorms across the street. Now, here I am snapping these to the road, but these will snap to footpaths just fine. We'll do 2 of those dorms for now. I don't want businesses moving in over there, so let's dezone that and jump back into our campus building types. So you can put in as many dorms as you need. This increases campus attractiveness, student capacity, and requires a trade school area. You can only put, at least without mods, the buildings from that campus into that campus area. So trade school, a study hall, another building that increases attractiveness but doesn't do anything for our capacity. Now, we can line these up to the roads, or we can start doing something a little bit funky in here. So let's see what we can connect for paths. And before we get too far ahead, I do want to try and smooth this out a little bit. It's a bit of a crazy incline as we continue to build down that way, so we should have some pretty rough lines around some of these buildings, but we'll make do where we can. So we'll drop it in something like that. You can see we've got, again, some pretty rough edges at spots. But unfortunately, this is kind of the terrain that I built into. We could, if we wanted things to look a little smoother, come out and build something off on the edge of town and flatten an area, but we're going to try and make this one work with the limitations that we've got here. Trade school groundskeeping. This one increases attractiveness and land value of the campus area, which is already maxed out anyways. Yeah, why not? We'll put them here. We'll give them road access. And that's all that we have unlocked for right now. So let's inspect on the campus. Now in Park Life, when we were leveling our parks, we were worried about number of visitors and the amount of entertainment that we had within that area. Campus attractiveness is effectively entertainment. It's a value assigned to the buildings that you put in there. Once they're in there, they are there, and they don't go down. Students absolutely can go down. So you need to maintain a population that wants education in order to maintain your kind of student level cutoffs there. The other thing that we have to think about is academic works. So that's on this middle tab. We can give a research grant to a different department within the school. It doesn't matter which, and they get a random chance of completing this. You see, we've got a 30% chance of an academic work being created. If we fund this with more money, and we've got a decent amount of money, we'll give up $20,000 just to kind of guarantee this. So let's allow that. So that's the first kind of thing that we have to micromanage. Once we can add in sports later, you'll see there's a Varsity Sports tab there, and we can affect budget for things like coaching staff, cheerleading, to kind of drive win percentage and attendance up. But like we did so many times with Park Life, now it's kind of a waiting game. Let's actually see where we're at real quick. I know it's not the focus today. We've got a 5-star amusement park. We've got a 3-star zoo. I just want to double check, make sure this one is leveling. So yeah, we've got plenty of entertainment. We're just waiting on visitors there. So now we are waiting. Now we're waiting on people to attend our college, which they're not going to do because they get it for free from the Collider. If we turn off or I should say, if we turn on disable university boost, then we're disabling the university effect of the Hadron Collider. And at that point, we are not providing any university. We're still providing free education for elementary and high school. But now, if people want to go to school, they're going to have to come here. They're going to have to actually attend Garnett College. Let's change this around. Plainville University, good old PU. So now that, again, we've turned off... Do we have another university that we didn't disable? I threw the Grand Library over here for now. We'll see what we can cram back in. I feel like I had another school. Let's take a quick look at education. We have 97. We have less than 100 eligible elementary school students. 0 eligible high school students. 9 eligible university students. That doesn't seem right. That number should, I would think, creep up a lot now that we're not providing uni coverage with this, even though it shows it lit up on the map. That is our only high school and our only elementary, and everything seems to be going there. We're only 0.1% uneducated, but we may have added this in a little bit late to be able to level it up properly, so we'll see. Again, if you want a longer form Let's Play going into all the details of all 3 campus types, check out the link in the description below. It's a playlist that I did 3 videos per city and a unique university instance in each one of those cities. I go into great depth and detail about kind of every step of the way, how it was built up, how we leveled it up. And if you want, again, more detail than what we're covering today, definitely the thing to check out. I know someone out there was waiting for it, and apparently today's the day. Natural Disasters DLC getting installed finally caught up with me. Got a pretty big fire in the forest area there. Had a couple break out at the same time in the city, so I think it slowed the helicopter depot response. But it looks like I was just gonna say, it looks like they're getting to everything in time. But no, never mind. Never mind that. We'll probably end up rebuilding, I think, this area in the industries episode, so it may not matter too much, but we may want to look at maybe another helicopter depot over this way. Might not be a bad idea. Maybe we could do a little underpass project here. All right, real quick, I'll time lapse this. All right, so a quick little diversion there. carved out, and we can clean this up some more, but it's not the point of today's episode. But it's not terrible. Use the minimal step. So when you go into snapping options, turn that all the way down, helps out a lot. Can make these much smoother inclines. One's a little bit taller than the other, but for manual and a quick pass, I'm fine with it for now. So did a little underpass here just to connect this on the road, and then electrical and water, quick patch in, but got another helicopter depot that's right next to the water. I do kind of want to wait for a fire to break out. Can level up our zoo while we're waiting on our university. But the one thing I want to check on this is, are they going to path to the fire first and look for water along the way? Or are they going to grab water and then head back into the city? So effectiveness of this sitting right next to that body of water, I'm not 100% yet. We'll have to wait for a fire to happen. I'm sure if we wait long enough, a doozy will happen. So we've upgraded our zoo while we're waiting for... How long are we waiting on this university? This can be a slow one too. We're about 2/3 of the way through the academic year. So let that ride just a little bit. For those of you that are interested in the growth of the zoo, stay tuned. For those of you that aren't, check the timestamps in the description down below if you want to jump back to the university build. Or again, check out the playlist in the description down below for a much detailed Let's Play of each of the specific universities across 3 episodes each. So quick bit of math, 9 total. Back to the zoo here. What do we got going on? Well, we unlocked, I think, 2 buildings, and then we'll check our entertainment. So the Monkey Palace and the Giraffe Enclosure. The enclosures don't necessarily snap. The buildings do in most cases. I think where can we put this? I think we should reconsider this path to the, this needs to be reconsidered anyways. Whole thing needs to be reconsidered. Let's do this. Rather than connect that way, let's get this out of my way for now. And just connect up to that. That's good enough. That buys us a little bit of space where we can drop the palace in right there. And then let's see if we can get the giraffe enclosure over here at a decent angle. Is that close enough? I think that's close enough. Okay, so we've got those 2 slapped in there, and a little bit of space for expansion, a couple more buildings to unlock, but just 1 more level. We'll get there when we hit the visitors, but we've also got to get some more entertainment in here. So when in doubt, let's get more cafes. Of course, you should have restrooms nearby. And of course, you should have plenty of souvenir shops nearby. You got room to fill. Can we get one? There was like a spot where it was going to let me. I guess we could do that. We can get one right across there. Wouldn't want you to miss it, if you were just kind of zoning out, looking at the park in the background. And maybe you see it when you turn this way. But another set of cafe, restroom, souvenir shop right there to fill in some of that space. If we zip back over to our university, hey, we've got plenty of students now. It was a slow crawl to get there. We may want to look at adding some more residents to our city to make this a little bit easier. I don't know if we'll be able to hit those upper tiers in a university on a 50,000 pop city. I mean, in theory we should. It's just going to be a lot more grindy. Now, getting that next level is dependent on us having 2 successful academic works. Now, that may not happen in your first year, but keep your fingers crossed because it can happen. And you'll get better chances if you invest in academic works during the previous academic year. So I'm not 100% sure why we didn't get the pop-up there. But it looks like we got our next level of reputation. At least I didn't see it come up. It just kind of went away here because of the info view we were on. So anyways, what do we have to do? Well, we have to get more campus attractiveness. We have to get more academic works. So let's fund that. And students wise, we're there. So as far as campus attractiveness, just like with Park Life before, we want to make sure that at the minimum, we're adding in some of these buildings that we've just unlocked to be unique, to add some more value and attractiveness or entertainment basically to our campus. Now, if you want to kind of cheese things, and that is cheat or game the system a bit, spamming book clubs is a pretty good way to do that. So they're a little costly at 12,000, not too bad in comparison to a lot of the other objects. And upkeep wise, they're not that bad either. But they do add a decent amount of campus attractiveness per cost, and they're super small to fit in. So you could build like a whole block of these tucked in away behind some trees on the side and just design a much smaller campus that was acting at a much higher level than it really is. So either way, I dropped in a metro station here that connects to the only other stop is this metro station at the hub. So that's to get people to and from the center hub to the university. Trade school gymnasium, that's a pretty big one, but it will fit right there next to. Will it fit this way? That's not terrible, because that can let us pad our entrance a little bit. Cafeteria, we'll see where we can cram this back here. All right, I'm not necessarily doing this for the most, so it's not the best approach, maybe from a decorative standpoint, but we're gonna cram a bunch of stuff into this relatively small campus footprint in the middle of our city. These are definitely a good one to maybe try in a creative mode, just to get a feel for seeing how big a campus can sprawl when you have everything unlocked 5-star. The school buildings at level 5 are especially large. I mean, I'm trying to think, like Central Park, the Central Park object, the schools are almost that big. So until you've actually dropped them into a map, they're kind of tough to gauge what kind of space you'll need. There's no way if we get there, we'll be able to fit that in this small of a space. So we'll have to commit a serious area somewhere nearby. Probably claim something in Birch Heights over here in order to do that. So we're meeting 2 of our requirements at this point for the next academic year. All we can really do is wait and see if our investment paid off in academic staff and gets us those 2 academic works that we need so badly. We get lucky again, we'll get level 3. If not, we'll be waiting another year before we're able to drop in any more buildings, which is just kind of crazy. These take so long to level up, I think, in comparison to even the Park Life objects. They take a while, but there's some appeal to that for owners of Park Life, campus, and industries. It definitely brings more of a management aspect than we had before. You're tweaking these aspects of policy, of the build, much more than you are just by popping down zoning. You know, you're really deciding where these buildings go, what the layout is, how they function. We got a taste of that in Park Life, but now those more management specific tasks really start to bubble up when we think about things like campus, and later on this week when we talk about industries. Quick check over at the zoo. Where are we at? Oh, I never put in enough entertainment. I thought I did not realize I did not put enough entertainment over here. So what are we going to do? Are we going to double up an animal building at this point just to get us there a little quicker? Ooh, did I not drop in flamingos? I didn't drop in flamingos, did I? What is getting in my way? This extra souvenir shop? But come on. Come on, mouse. You want? Could we just somewhere in here? Anywhere in the center of here? Let's just do it. Okay. There we go. So that put us just over the hurdle there. Now it's just a matter of getting 500 more visitors and we will be there. So let's do this. Let's drop in the last couple of things here. I think what we'll do, we come out like this. Little triangle here. It's a little crazy, but I think it works. And that gives us a spot. Quite faster this way. Gives us a spot to put our lion enclosure. I think it kind of makes sense to put this one. You know what? No, let's put this one over here. We don't want to put them on the absolute edge of the property, but I think, you know, if I was designing this, you know, you want something with cute appeal up the front. Get people moving through, maybe cool off in the middle of the day in some of the interior buildings, and of course, cafe, restroom, souvenir shop. But then, you know, draw them in. The lion exhibit or enclosure should be, you know, a big draw. So get the foot traffic moving through. Did I not leave just enough room? I guess we don't need this path if that one is oriented that way. Let's do that. Let's see. Is that enough room between the trains and the animals? Probably not. They would freak the heck out. So maybe we'll look at putting that system underground, or at least on the other side, right? Bring it over here on this side of the highway next to the industry. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. Just hook them in all three. And then can we bring this one up? So bring it up to like there. That is super awkward. That'd be nice if they made that into a staircase when you saw those kind of inclines. The good news is the mascots absolutely love this. I really hope that fence up there doesn't fail, because can you imagine a lion with a pouncing platform? That doesn't seem... Okay, we got one visitor. There we go. Okay, people are finding it. Not just the mascots. So again, we missed the pop-up. I gotta get out of that view or something. But we've got level 3 now. Now we need a ton of attractiveness to get our campus going, and a bunch more academic work. So this one is probably a grind year. We'll go the hospitality route. Now, I'm not going to do the full 5-star in today's episode, only because, for 2 reasons. I'm sure I mentioned a few times already. I've got a playlist, 3 episodes per campus, 9-episode Let's Play that goes into great detail on getting each one of those up to 5-star and what the entire campus looks like in its sprawling beauty. But I've been at this for over an hour now, and we're only at level 3. We're going to have to grind another academic year to hopefully get to level 4. We'll drop in the buildings, talk about a couple of the policies, and we'll drop in a couple of the sporting facilities just so we can see that mechanic as well. Now, we had dropped in an extra trade school fountain before, so let's go ahead and delete this one. We'll delete some of our excess buildings. This is a trade school library. Will this fit here? Probably not, right? It's so close, but we can get it in there. We can delete our redundant book club over here. I think that was redundant, right? This is the book club. Yeah. There's a math club as well, so I hopefully won't confuse it with that. IT club. Can we get it in here without overlapping on somebody? Where can we cram this in? Get it right there. That's a sloppy one. We'll sort of reserve that central area for our commencement office. And then there's an academic statue. Oh, so close. I guess this one can go right up front on the street. Now, we've unlocked a couple other things too. 2 of our 3 schools. What do we have to get to here? Prestigious. We have to get to the top rank there. But let's take a look at what we can drop in. So, Police Academy increases patrol car count, jail capacity, and police department efficiency. Not bad. We're having a crime problem in Plainville, though. Not really. We've got plenty of capacity with just what we've got built out for police departments, right? We don't have a jail. Do we have a jail? We don't. So, or prison, I should say. So since we don't really have a crime problem, I'm not going to worry about that one. This one, though, the School of Tourism and Travel. Interns bring the best out of the city attractions and shops, increasing attractiveness and entertainment of leisure buildings, and income from all commercial zones is increased. That's fantastic, right? There's nothing but good things that happen to our city for that. But look at the size of this thing. So maybe we move. Let's move those two, right? Let's find another way to cram them in. So can we get this? Can we get this down here? No. Of course not. It's way too cramped in here. And my stupid little V pattern here, tying up so much space. So let's get this out of here. What is this, the IT club? We'll redo the IT club in a minute. Let's see if we connect this up straight, what kind of zoning space we get. And let's leave this side open because that building might fit there. If we put it that way and we delete everything else that's in. Oh, no, we're moving this one. Never mind. Will that fit? That'll fit. Okay. Okay, we'll fix that. We'll fix that later. We'll walk that in just a minute. Hold on a second. And let's move this out of here. Can we get this one down over here for now? It's gonna be so great. All right, so we'll drop this one in kind of right next to the road. And let's see what we can do where we can, right? Smoothing stuff out. Not a lot here because the ground is being forced down for the Eden project and forced up for this one. So let's do one more thing before we walk our campus, and that is let's get at least one of the varsity sports in there. So we've got a couple different ones. You've got aquatics center, Olympic-sized swimming pools. Can't really see inside. Basketball arena, track and field, baseball park, and American football stadium. The games themselves are not that exciting, so don't get too worried about it. You'll see basically one play on a loop, whether it is baseball, football, track and field. So even though you can see those sports, it's not a whole lot. The more interesting thing is all the traffic you'll generate coming to and from the sporting events. So there's two ways that you can do these, and let's drop one of each in our city. So let's say, Plainville. What is Super Plain, America's pastime? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. But maybe let's get a baseball stadium in here. Man, this thing's so huge. Hold on a second. Let's get it. That thing's big. That thing's big. They're all so big. Let's do this. We'll do a basketball arena. So we still even ended up breaking a couple more buildings. We'll go back into campus areas and extend this so that this is part of our campus, and we'll see why that's important in just a minute. So now if we inspect in the arena, we can go straight to the sports. The other thing is if we go over here to our university, let's jump in here. Did I fund academic works? Yes, I did. Okay. So now that we have a sports arena inside of our campus area, we also have the Varsity Sports tab, and we can manage some things from here. So what is our ticket price? The more you win, the more you can charge to fill the arena. We'll just leave that on default. You can also spend money on cheerleading budget, which increases your chances of winning. Coaching staff also increases the chances of winning, and it increases over the span of basically the sports year, the season. I shouldn't even really say that. The games don't happen that often. You can change your team color. That's not orange enough. There we go. And then you can change your team name as well. There's a couple options in there. We'll go with the Plainville Chirpers. I don't know. Is there something more plain? I think that works. So if we come over here to the arena itself, I inspected on a person, you can actually see your win-loss and when your next game is. So it is August 19th. Where are we at? July 3rd. So it's going to be a little while before a game even happens. You can rename the arena. That doesn't rename the team. That's done at the university level. These buildings will generate a lot of traffic. So something that's interesting is on certain buildings, you can actually do routes and see like where's your traffic coming from. But it's all broken out across pedestrians, private vehicles, cyclists, public transport. Hopefully you're seeing a lot of that traffic come on via public transport. If not, definitely do something about that to take some of the burden off, because game days will be really heavy on your traffic otherwise. I mean, they're going to be heavy either way. If you have public transport as an option, something to consider. You could also do some of those cheesy routes with parks to get to and from your sports arena on foot, and just do a little loop like this if you want to make some extra money on game days, but we're not going to worry about that right now. So I probably wouldn't be too thrilled to live right here. I bet this is going to be a little bit noisy. Whew. Yeah, they are not going to be very happy over here. So we got to make sure we have good medical coverage. Or maybe we move out, maybe we move out all these people and turn this into a park. Let's do that. Let's get rid of all those people. We'll move some more in. Where do we have some room? We could move some people in over here. We've definitely got some room over this way. Do we have the network to support them? Well, not entirely just yet, but I've also left some area open over this way that we can start to expand with 2 more bits of transport that we haven't extended over this town because we don't have them yet. That is trams and trolley buses? Is that what they're called? The bus on the wires from Sunset Harbor and from Snowfall. Reverse respective order. Strike it, reverse it. Someone knows what I meant. And if there's a word for that, I'd be actually interested to know. Because usually we would say them in order and then say respectively. But I did them reverse respective order. So yeah, if you know the word for that, hit me up in the comments down below. So we'll be adding some more transport options to this city. Make sure people can get around. But as we move more and more people in, obviously it's going to affect certain areas. And we haven't done a lot of troubleshooting on traffic. But I was kind of saving that for when we had all of our transport routes in. And again, I'm thinking maybe doing tram along this might be kind of cool, because we can actually do tram right up the middle of this actually. And I've never done that, like an independent, separate from the road tram line. And I think that would be a really cool way to do that. It may require some finessing and moving some stuff around here or there, but that'll be interesting. Stay tuned for that. Worker problems. So I probably should have thought about this one earlier. Industry 4.0 makes it so all industrial workplaces are for well and highly educated citizens, which is where the bulk of our population is. So let's turn that on. And increases the production output by 50%, but reduces workplaces by 30%. So it's going to throw our balance off, but it should help us kind of fill those slots, because overeducated population may not be taking some of those jobs. And this just tips the balance towards a more educated population, which we definitely should have here. Let's see that breakdown of, we're looking at university, graduated citizens, 0.1% uneducated. Only a third are educated. Everyone else, 2/3 is above that, basically, close to 2/3. If I was more educated, I could do that math faster. Almost 2/3. So well and highly educated, a good percentage of the population is now going to be able to go grab those jobs. What are we abandoning over here? Our having some problems over here at the organic and local produce area. Speaking of, here is the foot traffic when a game lets out. So you can see that there are just a ton of people pouring out, and the way that the sports schedules stack up, you have games in the same day. So if you have 5 sports in your city, you better be able to support that. Be very careful if you cram them all into the same area. Again, good mass transport options are a must. We haven't really set that up here, so you can see it's kind of a mess. But I've cleared out a little spot over here. I moved a couple things around right across the street. I threw the Grand Library back over here so that we could drop in another one of those sports over this way. In this case, baseball. Let's build ourselves a little loop here. Maybe we could even do like a one-way that's tied into this road network that we already have. I don't know. No, let's not. Let's come back. Let's come back here. All right, we'll come up 5. That should be enough. I don't want to get too crazy with it. I want to do something like that. So we've got a one-way hooking into this area. Let's pause it. Let's drop in our stadium. Now you can see that's got a decent happiness effect. It's also got a huge noise bubble. So we might be upsetting some of our residents. We might want to move them around a little bit later. So the street is commercial. Over here, they're going to start to complain. Maybe we end up building back into here. But I did want to demo this mechanic. So if we want to cheat the system a little bit, let's break out our highways and upgrade this segment coming in. Let's delete that. Go back to our one-way road right there. Before we make that last segment another piece of highway. So this prevents any kind of pedestrian access. For now, let's add an express stop over here. So we want people to be able to get to the stadium via mass transit. We just want to make sure they go the very specific way we want them to. So we'll hook them up right here. Let's grab a metro tunnel, underground. Where are we going? Do we hook up an express? I think that we do. So we'll have one intersection in the tunnel underneath. That's totally fine though. Where are we going? We're going way over this way. Now this does get a little messy at the station. Train's backing up a little bit, but I try to add no more than 2 or 3 lines on either side of something that I'm using a hub station like that. It still can be a little imperfect, and it's something you got to keep an eye out for. Otherwise, you can have trains despawning. So we've hooked up a line there, right? We can get people to this stadium. But how do they get there? Better yet, right now they're going to do it by car because it's the only way they can get there. If we do this. Had that happen to me a lot with the city park or just the park gates in general. Just replace it with a straight segment of road. We'll go one node off. Already has a main gate. Can we connect it? Just that simple? That could be too close. Oh, that's awesome. So if you want to get there by car, we're allowing that right now. I guess it would be awesome if it was a little straighter, but whatever. They can still get there by car, but I bet a lot of people are going to come in via metro, walk through here, cross the street, come in that way. So we're going to knock up the price on that ticket. So nice way to introduce a little bit of life into your city, especially with all that traffic that we saw before. You know, it is a thing that you do have to make certainly a consideration for. It can be as basic as this though, right? Just drop a metro nearby. If you've got park life, make sure the only way they can walk from A to B is by paying you $20, even if it's just for a short little walk like that. If you're feeling guilty, put down a couple trees, give them something to look at. But these sports can exist inside campus areas or completely independent and outside of it. You'll notice here, this is the Plainville Broncos. If you'll remember, the team at the university is called the Chirpers. You can see we already got a lot of people lining up out front for the game, and plenty of people, whether they're coming from the metro or not, that are making their way up there through the park, which is fantastic. It's just more money for the city, especially on game days. You'll see a tremendous influx of money and traffic. So hopefully it'll help you pay for some upgrades where you can support all that stuff. So whether you want to add education and customization to your city, there's again 3 different options depending on what special focuses you want to gain benefit from. And that's really something to consider when you're choosing that trade school, liberal arts, or just standard university routes. Check out the link in the description down below for my playlist of 9 different episodes, 3 at each campus. I revisited old cities and dropped in a university of each type when campus first came out for console. But even if you're just looking to add maybe some sports to your city, football, baseball, track and field, or the indoor sports options, it can have an interesting look and management mechanic. Again, just don't be expected to see any tremendous action. You're going to see one play on a loop, so don't get it for the game. Get it for the atmosphere of the city if it's something that you want to pick up. I'll keep working on leveling that university where we can, but stay tuned to get a look at that in a future episode. Up next will be the Industries DLC, and that one we'll be able to get a little bit more hands-on with, as it requires a little bit more management. And there's some great little tips and tricks that I can recommend. I don't follow them all myself. I tend to let the industry areas design themselves a little bit more based on necessity, but you can really kind of tweak the numbers and make really efficient zones. Anyways, getting ahead of myself, that's coming up next. If you aren't subscribed, now's a great time to do so. Also, likes, comments, shares, they all help the channel a lot and are so greatly appreciated. If you'd like to support the channel, links to that and lots of other things in the description down below. Check back this Saturday at 12 noon Eastern for another video. And next week, we'll be getting into the last 2 DLCs that are available for City Skylines, Sunset Harbor, and I'm going to do Snowfall last. Even though it was the first one out, I want to load up another old city so you can really see it in action. We'll see what some of those mechanics can do to a regular city, but of course, most of it is built around the snow-specific maps. But until the next one, this is Move the Mouse, signing off.